I was talking to this film student a couple days ago, and this film student wanted to get into the industry. They wanted to make movies. They wanted to do what they're passionate about. But what they struggled to do was to get into the role that they really wanted to get into. All of these production companies wanted to have this guy start off as an intern, as an assistant. And he didn't want to do that because that wasn't really aligned with what he wanted to do. He just wanted to make movies. And he said, well, do you need the production company? I mean, you could use different platforms like this one, YouTube. You could use YouTube as a platform for putting out your movies or documentaries or what have you. Anything you want to make, anything you want to create video-wise, you could do on YouTube. And if you have some film experience, you could throw it up on YouTube and you could make it work. And the response I received was, that's too hard. That's too hard. Because growing a YouTube channel is hard. It's not easy to grow this channel. I struggle to grow my channel. So who am I to suggest that YouTube is the best approach when I myself struggle to grow and cut through the noise? Well, the thing is YouTube is much more aligned to a film student than it is for me personally. That's what I think. Because you can really show your best work. If you have high production quality, which is what a film student is probably known for, is putting together films of high production because they want to show off their work or just want to show off different techniques that they know about. I think YouTube would eat that up. I think the algorithms would do well for him. But, of course, like anything, of course it's hard. What, you think it's just easy? You can just throw up a video on YouTube and you're going to be successful? You have to work at this. That's why I'm putting up videos every day. Because if I didn't, nobody would know I exist. I'm trying to create a lot of content that's searchable, that people can find, and then they can tune in and see a story, see an experience, and somehow get motivated to maybe help their situation. But that's too hard. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter what I suggest. That person will say that's too hard because they're starting from the bottom. They're literally starting from the bottom. Thinking of a Drake song right now, and I don't know why. But anyway, probably because of the lyrics. So it doesn't matter what this individual will try. This film student is going to be starting from the bottom, and it's going to be hard. Look, they can become the assistant, work for the production company, and try to grow in that position and work at it. Right? It won't happen overnight. They won't get what they want to do overnight. But if they keep plugging away at it, eventually they will get to do the tasks that they wanted to in the first place. That's one option because it gives you that structure to grow in a thriving industry where you can kind of create films and whatnot. That's an option. But of course, he would have to work hard. It's not an overnight thing. Absolutely, it's going to take a lot of work, and that's okay. Anything that you start doing right now is going to be too hard, right? It's going to be too hard. Doesn't matter what you choose. Right now, whatever you pursue is too hard. A lot of people watching this might be in the process of making something. Art, videos, a business. Do you think any of this is easy? How about this? Let's take it a step further. You want to get a job. You want to have a job somewhere. That's also too hard, based on this film student's philosophy. Yeah, getting a career is too hard. So at what point are you going to say, this is possible, and yes, it's too hard, but it's possible, it's doable? No, it's not easy, but it's doable if I stick to it. I mean, eventually you got to point to something and say, yeah, that's hard, but I'll do that. That's too hard, but I'll do it. Look, getting a job is too hard. It is, because you have to go through a process of your resume, applying, and that process is too hard as well. Oh, and then even once you get the job, you're capped at whatever salary you're given. You can't expand beyond that. So you have to accept that this is what you have. And then it could get really exhausting, and then you hate your job and you just want to get out of it. And then the process of getting that job was maybe a disaster. Maybe it wasn't really what you wanted. Doing what you love is too hard, but it's worth it. And in the long run, you will enjoy it. In the long run, you won't want to do anything else but what you decided to go with. So, yeah, that's too hard. Yeah, everything is too hard. But I wouldn't crawl into a little ball, like roll up into a ball and just kind of give up. No, I wouldn't do that. I would choose something, acknowledge the fact that this is going to be a challenge, but then take the challenge head on and go for it. Because life is too hard, but it doesn't mean we should just do nothing. Otherwise, you're going to be at McDonald's and you're going to wonder why you were there. Or you're going to be in some retail job, because the easiest thing is to go get a retail job. There's plenty of retail jobs out there. Like, you could look anywhere and someone's hiring. Or a restaurant. Well, a restaurant is looking for help all the time. And who wants to be working in a kitchen? Like, I don't want to work in a kitchen. It's hot. But that's the easy road for the initial step, right? You can literally go get that job and put very little effort in. You could just walk in, and I bet they could have you start the day of, because they need help. Yeah, any fast food chain would be ecstatic to have you. But is that what you really want? Is that the bottom of the barrel for you? Is that really what you want to go for? Or do you actually want to try something? You want to work hard at something? You went to school, maybe. And in this particular instance, this guy got a film education. He's just going to throw it all away just because it's too hard. And look, maybe you're financially struggling. Well, okay, in that case, go get the job that you can get right now, because don't waste your time trying to build something when you're constantly thinking about money. I mean, it's not really a good way to live. Yeah, you don't want that. So take care of your financial situation. If you're not making any money or you're barely getting by, take care of your financials. Like, don't try to pursue something very difficult when your financials aren't in order. Okay, that's a given. But once everything's in order, get ready to take on something that's too hard, because that's just the reality. Anything worthwhile doing is not easy. So I see this time and time again of people who are lacking the self-confidence to see something through to the end. I deal with it all the time. I have a lack of focus. I have a lack of self-confidence. I run through that many, many times, and I know where people are coming from. And it's much easier to look at it from the outside and tell somebody what to do. But of course, this is what I'm doing. I'm telling you what you could do from the outside looking in. And here's a situation. Sometimes it's easier to coach rather than to play, right? Phil Jackson was an amazing coach, not so much an amazing player per se. But he was an all-star coach, one of the best of all time for the NBA. So sometimes people are just better at coaching and telling people things that they should be doing. But if somebody says, oh, that's too hard, I can probably look at their life and say, well, was that too hard? Was that too... And I'll notice a trend that they thought everything was just too hard. And throughout life, they've never really gone after something. I can see that as an example among tons of people. And no execution, a lot of ideation, so they'll have ideas out the yin-yang, but they'll never execute on their ideas. Yeah, see that time and time again. It happens. There's lots of those people. And they'll eventually go to the easy road and choose that path. And they will regret it. They'll live with regret because they didn't snap out of it. So you're going to be watching this and you're going to say, yeah, there is something right now that I'm thinking that's too hard, but you've convinced me that I should pursue it because it makes me uncomfortable, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Because if it makes you uncomfortable, then you're growing, and I think that's important. You're going to find that situation in a lot of different things that you've never tried before. Hard things, things that are just too hard. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to do it. But it'll be worth it. So if you've got a bunch of ideas sitting around right now, start chipping away. I'll probably do another video on specifically ideas and what to do with a bunch of ideas that come through your head. I think I will probably create something soon about how ideas come about and how you can manage them. Because I've been starting to fine-tune ideas that come to my mind. And I've been getting better at executing on my ideas, so I can maybe share some thoughts around that. But that's kind of another video, because it's too hard, well, because you've got all these ideas, and you're uncertain which one to go with. And that uncertainty creates more difficulty, because well, YouTube's difficult to grow, Instagram's difficult to grow, your website's difficult to get traffic to. These are all difficult things to do. But of course, if you chip away at them, then you'll make it work. But maybe you have a flood of ideas and you need to organize them. So I could probably go in more depth on that, about ideas, because I think that's important, is to organize your ideas. Then you can somehow make things easier, right? You can make hard things easy. Right now, this video could seem hard to somebody starting out because, one, somebody might not have a YouTube channel. Oh, film student doesn't have a YouTube channel. Well, that's too hard. I have to create a YouTube channel. Okay, well, let's break it down. Step one today, create your YouTube channel. That's it. That's all you need to do. Or let's make it even simpler. Create the channel art for your YouTube channel. Here are the dimensions. Make your channel art. See, break it down into little chunks. Make it easy for you. Day by day, you chip away. And hooray. Little rhyme session there. Because that's what it is. The days are long, the decades are short. So if you can actually organize your day so that you chip away at something difficult, then it becomes easier over time. Imagine you say, 500 videos in 2 years. That's what I want to do. 500 videos in 2 years. That sounds really hard. Yeah, not many people are going to want to do that. But if you break it down, day by day, 10-minute video today, 20-minute video tomorrow, 5-minute video the next day. Oh, get into a rhythm, right? Just like brushing your teeth, a nice quality rhythm. Before you know it, you'll hit 500. That's what I did for my children's books. I had a 400 children's book goal in 2 years. And day by day, I chipped away. And it was an unrealistic, difficult goal. Very hard. Very hard. To do one children's book in your lifetime is challenging. So I worked at it, though. I went to the library, I sat down, I got to work. Some days I did 3 books, some days I only did 1, some days I did 0. But at the end of like a couple months, I had done 30 books. I had done 30 books in 30 days at one point. I have like 61 books now. I decided, hey, this is good. This is good. I got into a rhythm. But I don't know if the quality is quite there, so I kind of stopped. And I thought, well, that's maybe too ambitious. A more realistic goal is maybe doing a video a day because, well, it's not that difficult to put a video together in a day. There's tons of time for it. Putting a children's book together takes a little bit more thought, especially if you want it to be good. But I would have never have completed a single children's book had I not set that goal and chipped away at it piece by piece. Yeah, whatever you decide to do, that's too hard. But you gotta chunk it out and you gotta chip away. Chunk and chip. That's too hard. That's just an excuse. You just want people to hear your complaints. And I hear you loud and clear. Life is too hard, but honestly, the best parts of life come from the hard work. Waking up early and going swimming, that's too hard. That is too hard. It is too hard to wake up and go swimming constantly. But if I don't do it, life will actually be harder. It's funny. It's actually very ironic. If you don't do the hard things now, life will get harder. Things will deteriorate. Your life will deteriorate. You'll go dark. Things will get very dark. And then you'll be dealing with a much more difficult situation. So life will get harder. And then it'll get too hard. And then you will just collapse. And then you'll hit rock bottom. And it'll be too late. So you don't want that. If something is too hard right now, that's a huge sign right there that you should probably explore that. For the film student, I don't know if he'll watch this. Maybe. For the film student who is struggling, I get it. I get the difficulty of building something worthwhile. But if you do not pursue this and you decide you're going to do something less than who you are, telling you will regret your decision. Go after that hard thing. And there's something powerful about the person who pursues something when they know that there's a very high chance of failure. There's something about that person who decides to go after that very hard thing. Yeah. It's very appealing. It is very appealing. And most won't go for it. But a lot of people out there are very much interested in that person. Because you're literally willing to put your vulnerable self out on the line to make something happen. And that is fantastic. So to this person, give that YouTube channel a try. Just give it a try. See what happens. Chip away. And it goes for anything that maybe you're trying to pursue. Chip away at it. I'm telling you, the more you think about the things that you can't control, or the bad things or what could happen, the less likely you'll do it. And you'll just be riddled with constant inertia, not being able to move forward on anything. And that is not a good feeling to have, not a good way to live. That's too hard. Cool. Until next time. Toodles.